Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure it is to be here in this special event. So many people here out to support our good friend Alex Yuan. Now, I want to share with you a couple of very special days that we had this week, Monday and Tuesday. The leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Andrew Scheer, was in the riding. He was in Aurora and Richmond Hill, and my colleague to the north, Lois Brown, and I had the opportunity to host him and take him to a number of venues, meet with a number of people and organizations and a number of groups to give him a nice warm York Region welcome here. He's been here, of course, many times before, and it was indeed a pleasure to have him meet with business leaders, with community leaders, with the refugee group, with so many people throughout the region and organizations that provide valuable services to York Region, certainly to Aurora and to Richmond Hill. I want to share with you two very touching visits that we had. One, we met with a group of refugees. And I have to tell you, to meet people that have been in Canada as recent as 2 weeks ago, within the last 3 months, and to hear their heart-wrenching stories, heartfelt stories of their journey to come here, to come to this country from places where their life was in danger, and to see how we all live, it really makes me and all of you, I'm sure, proud to be Canadian in this country, the most inclusive, most accepting country in the world. I'll share with you a story of a young lady who is no more than 19 or 20 years old maximum, who came here after having been subjected to some very cruel abuse in the country that she came from. She came from Syria. She was at one point abducted. She was abused in every possible inhuman way you can imagine. She finally found her way out of that country and into Canada. And in the first meeting she had, sort of like an orientation group meeting here in Canada, to sort of get a sense where the country's from, she turned around to see some of the other refugees that were here with her, and she saw the man that had abused her and had raped her in Syria, sitting there as a refugee in our country. She shared this story with us on Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock. I was in shock to hear it, as was everybody else in the room. We are a very inclusive country, and we're a very welcoming country. But immigration, refugee intake, asylum seekers, anyone that wants to come to our country should, in my opinion and in the opinion of the Conservative Party of Canada, be properly vetted before we welcome them into our country. We want to welcome the world's most vulnerable. We want to welcome people that contribute to Canadian society. I look around the room here, a very diverse community. My parents came here. My mother came here in 1956 as a live-in caregiver in a program the Canadian government was having at the time. My father came a year later. They didn't speak the language. Their goal was to grow up their families and work and prosper and have a good life in Canada, and that's what they did until their dying days. My dad just passed away a few months ago. I lost my mom in 2010. But they held true to one fundamental principle: the rule of law. They loved this country. They liked the way they were treated when they arrived. They loved what this country offered them, and they would never accept, as none of us should ever accept, people in the country that are coming here with false pretenses. Here's a young girl that was 19, 20 years old, and turned around to see her rapist. Here as a refugee, obviously got in with some kind of false pretense, and certainly did not disclose who he was and what he did before he came here. That's the danger of an immigration policy that says, come on in. There's nothing wrong with saying come on in, but there has to be a process by which people get interviewed and vetted so that the right people come to this country. People that we want. Who are the right people? Anyone who is a law-abiding citizen and wants to call Canada their home. You either come through the normal immigration streams, or if your life is in peril, you apply through the refugee system or come here as an asylum seeker, and you're welcomed in our country.
elected in '97 and federally, and I was the only one out of 103 members of for the province of Ontario. I woke up the next morning. Normally, when you're a local politician, you don't get any calls. But the press hardly calls you. I had 47 calls that day. I didn't return any because I didn't know what to say. But anyway, I've known this guy for 15 years. I've always been impressed with Alex. He carries himself with class and dignity. I think he'll be an excellent member of Parliament, and I just wish him all the best. And I guess first of all, get the nomination, and I think you've got a lot of friends here that are going to help you, and then win the next election, you and the Conservative Party. So anyways, all the best, Alex.
He never turns you away. Alex Yuan is always there. He's got a heart of gold, and he is one person that you can always depend on to be there for the people. I can tell you that firsthand because with our club as the Optimist Club, we were a very small service club. We were a service club that...
I know Alex many years. I hope everybody support Alex. If you have a friend who lives in Richmond Hill, just support Alex. Thank you, everyone.
Be able to help Alex Yuan. I know Alex not so long ago, and I was very impressed by him. He was the one to come to downtown to help me. And in downtown, the riding is very difficult riding, and a lot of people give up on it. And I know Alex not for long, but I know he have three character. One is integrity. So he did what he says. He always honest. So integrity, and the second he delivered. So when he make a promise, he always delivers. So I told my volunteers, told my friends, I'm going to help Alex because he's the one help us, and he always delivers results. The second and the third, he's passionate, is warm-hearted, and not only in Richmond Hill is famous, he's very famous in downtown Toronto, and because of one of long-time story, it's for David Chen Wang. So he helped him to help him to get free from jail and also move the law. That's someone we need in the community that help us to push forward and make conservative famous, make Chinese people stand up. So that's why I'm helping.
And we are so excited that we turned the province blue. I came to Canada when I was a teenager, and I finished my high school in Canada, and subsequently, of course, I started my business back in 1982. Over the years, I won a number of business awards and recognized by my peers, and of course, subsequently, I served my community. Being as a business owner, I know what it takes to build a business and to become profitable, and also to look after our employees so they will thereafter look after the family. In community, I was fortunate to work with a number of different areas. In seniors, I was the vice chair along with Dr. Joseph Wong at the Yihong, and I subsequently also served for the Care First for seniors. And last year, it was my 60th birthday. And I told my family, I say, well, I want a lot of stuff, but stuff that money cannot buy. So subsequently, what we have done is we donated $12,000 to Care First, which they need a lot of money to have a medical mobile unit. And I believe they do have the medical mobile unit now. So subsequently, they can actually service across the GTA. And I'm very, very proud to see that. With the youth, back in 1997, I started a charity called Sport for Kids Foundation to help kids at risk. So subsequently, they will be able to learn for teamwork and self-esteem. And most importantly is, of course, for them to actually learn to become a better students, and which become the adult life down the road. As well, I joined the York Regional School Board, and I was sitting there to help kids who deal with illiteracy and also bullying. And at that time, there was Bill Hogarth was the school board director. And I believe Bill Hogarth recently also joined a private Century Private School, which I learned that Bill continues his good work in the private sector as well. So I'm very delighted to see him doing that. In our society, we of course we want to make sure where we live and where we work, our as a citizens don't have to worry about people breaking into our house, and also worry about when you walk, people got robbed and so forth. I was asked and appointed to sit at the Toronto Police and Consultative Committee members, and I learned all kinds of tough work that they have been doing, or things that they cannot do, and a lot of things that, of course, in upcoming marijuana issue, I spoke with our York Regional Chief of Police Eric Jarvis, and of course speak with the Toronto Police. They are not ready. They are not ready because they don't have the resource, they don't have the money, and also they don't have the equipment, the tools to how to govern and to look after. Can you just imagine? The Liberal saying that you can grow 4 plants per house per person. How do you know that how many plants you or the neighbors actually grow? Do you think the police can actually go door to door and check? It's not possible. Exactly. How much money do you think that those tax collections from marijuana will be able to pay? It's not enough. For the younger people, when they take marijuana, they need to focus to study. For the adults, they need to focus to the work, otherwise they have no more jobs. So it doesn't matter what age group, taking marijuana is not good. For the Conservative Party, we are against that. For Justin Trudeau Liberal, federal, they believe that selling marijuana is good. Why is that? Because they want the youth votes. And that's how they win at the last election. And we, for any common sense, simple citizen, knowing that marijuana for recreation purpose is a no-no. So we want to make sure that the federal Liberal will have a tough time, even though they passed it. And we want to make sure that that will not go through as cleanly as what they wish to do. I have worked diligently in a number of different areas. I have my software company in the medical industry, and I know doctors. I know the limitation, I know the frustrations, I know the healthcare issues. I work with the seniors, I work with the youth, I understand the educational sectors, and I understand the medical. I'm ready, I'm prepared. In 2007, I ran for the Ontario PC. At that time, unfortunately, John Tory was the party leader, and he decided, thinking that faith-based funding is one of the areas that our Ontarian will need. And of course, at that time, we all remember that we lose dramatically. A number of my friends who came forward to me saying that, why do I not focus in the federal politics? Many of my friends, Alice Wong from Richmond, BC, lo and behold, I know her through being involved in the Conservative Party, which we are literally as a Conservative family. And subsequently, I learned a lot from Alice Wong and many of our elected MPs. Councilman Ngakis, a good friend, and also many other friends who has ran or is MPs in the federal level, have taught me that different things that I can serve in the federal level. Almost 4 or 5 years ago, my son took over my business. So, as a good saying is, my son make the money, daddy's do the spending. I'm very fortunate that I have time to serve our community, and also in politics. To be all honesty, politics is a very, very tricky game. But this is the only way to get things done. This is the only way to make our society to be better, and most importantly for those who are weak and those who need the help, and we need to change the law and also to look after those. I need your help. In order to represent in Richmond Hill riding, I need you to find friends who live in this riding to join as a Conservative Party member, and those members then they can actually come to vote for me at the nomination time. If you support me and your friends support me, but do not join as a party member, they can only watch sideline. And of course, you know, the only way, one thing I learned in politics is number game. So it doesn't matter how good or not good one person is, if that person got one extra vote than the other person, than the opponent, then that person will win and will represent the riding. So I need your help. If you do know people or you haven't find anybody, or your neighbors, and I need every single one of them to sign up as a member very quickly, because I need to pump up my numbers in the next few weeks, not few months. I need very soon. So whatever possible you can, please have them to sign up. And I believe I have my membership form and also card that you can actually bring it with you. And if you have any question and whatnot, you can email to me or call me. And most importantly is every one of you who come tonight, you are all my VIP. You're all my very dear friends. And I'll tell you, I'm not just saying that. I even have my grandson here. Unfortunately, he's not 14. You have to be 14 and older to join the party. I think he has to wait for a few more years. But again, of course, I have my very, very, very long-time classmate, my high school classmate, Alfred Yuan, which I was my high school classmate from Hong Kong, and he does live in Richmond Hill, but just by chance because of the new new boundary, so he is just outside now. He has to move a little bit closer to where I am now. But again, as Alfred, thank you so much. And again, as I don't want to name every single one, and you are all my very good friend. And Jason, thank you for coming, and everybody, thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.